Alright guys, so for today's meeting, I'm just gonna go ahead and send y'all a video. Just kind of going over a couple things that I really feel are gonna have so much value to creating a vision for your own personal life and discovering like your area of gifting, as well as your, what do you call it, your calling. So I'm gonna share a note. You're probably looking at it now, and so number one is find out one main thing that you spent a lot of time when you were a kid, like time and energy on when you were a child. Whether that was a fun outlet such as video games, or a trauma that was very difficult for you to handle, but you had to go through it whether you liked it or not. Maybe, a divorce in a home, maybe abuse or something that was tough. Maybe, low self-esteem, insecurity in school, whatever it may be. Maybe just like feeling like you were left out, always having to fit in because, whatever. Like for me personally, as a kid, I spent a lot of time and energy on video games, and I know exactly why. And there's a lot of what I'm doing today that came from that experience as a kid. I mean, I learned so much about business, so much about relationships, so much about all these things through a freaking game. So this is how deep this rabbit hole goes. So that's number one. And then you want to write that down. What is that thing that you invested so much time and energy on as a kid? One thing, okay? If you have two, that's fine, but I'm looking for one. All right, number two, find out 3 problems that really bother you about yourself or life in general. Things that are going on in the world that really rub you off the wrong way, etc. Like some people really hate the fact that, there's children starving today. Maybe that's a big problem to you. Some people don't like the human sex trafficking deal. Maybe that's something you want to bring resolve to. Or maybe there's a lot of like insecurity that runs in your family. Maybe you want to like resolve that generational curse. So think in terms of generational curses that you wish to break, things that you really hate to see going on in the world. Or maybe you watch the news and you see things that bother the hell out of you. Why does that bother you? What are you going to do about it, right? Write that down. 3 problems that really bother you about yourself or life in general. All right, number 3. All right, find 1 to 5 things that you became really good at that you used to suck at. So like when it comes to areas of gifting in life, every solution that you have to problems that you used to have is a gift. You can literally get paid for that. You can literally share that knowledge with other people who are going through that problem if you are now great at something you used to suck at. So that is number 3, is to write 1 to 5 things that you are now really good at that you used to suck at. All right, that's number 3. All right, I expect all of you to write 5 things. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you used to suck at that you're not good at. Okay, number 4, and we'll talk about how all this comes together when we meet up next week, or maybe even tomorrow for those of you that are going to go on this Austin trip. All right, so number 4, find 3 things, 3 of your main struggles currently that you've been dealing with, and I want you to write down 1 word that describes each of those 3's opposite. So if, let's say, you've been struggling with, just not taking action, right? So now you're going to say action is your 1 word. Let's say you've been struggling with like low self-esteem. Confident is going to be the word to oppose that. Let's say you've been struggling with your finances. Put in rich. Rich will be your word for that. If you've been struggling with, let's say like procrastination, what would be the opposite of that? Ambitious, right? Ambition. So you're going to write down 3 of your main struggles that you've been dealing with recently, and you're going to write down its opposite. And I want you to put the possessive with this opposite. So if it was procrastination, you're going to say, I am ambitious. If it was low self-esteem, I am confident. If it's, poverty mindset, you're going to put, I am prosperous, or I am rich. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to get to know where you are today. So now number 5, the 5th and final, it's going to be, what are 2 businesses you would start if you were handed $1 billion and required to have social contribution with each of those businesses, and required to never retire, meaning you cannot retire. You have to continue to work, and you have to continue to contribute back to the community. What are 2 businesses that you would start, provided that money will be given to you if you do not clock out, until death do you part. You cannot clock out, and you have to contribute socially to the community. You have to help out. What would those two, and you have to also always evolve. You have to continuously learn new things, whether you liked it or not, in order to keep that $1 billion. All right, that's it. I want to see you guys answer all of those things. Have them ready, because we're going to talk about what your specific vision is for your life and what you're going to do when we get to that meeting. So we're going to create some action steps. We're going to create some big goals, short-term goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals. So yeah, get to know who you are. Look forward to your reaction. Let me know if this is of value to you. You know, I want to know what your testimony is on answering these questions, the thought that went into it, how long it took you, etc. Much love, guys. That's going to be our meeting for today. I'll see you guys, hopefully some of you tomorrow on the Austin trip. And nevertheless, I'll see all of you next week. Much love.